From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LA Late.
It's a big evening of Evenings LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In tonight's recording, we go over that $3.5 trillion recon that passed that'll pay viewers on this channel an average of about $15,000. We'll go over all the incredible details of this recon and how you qualify for this money. We'll be going over cluster number 1 that has money in there for elders and also Hazard Pay. Then we got money in the. Then we have a new add-on on top of that, upwards of $25,000 being proposed across the board. Cluster number 2, home repairs, and then $250 billion on top of that for seniors. Cluster number 3, pass with more money for seniors, and then MSCs. Then we'll be going to the big surprise that no one saw coming as we went into tonight with yet another, not one from before, but another deal with Joe Manchin. What is going on? All the latest details in tonight's recording, direct from Santa Monica. Then we go over the big surprise as more money is going out for student loan debt forgiveness. Then we turn to the big money as COLA is going up. What a big night we got as well. Then we go over to the big money from third stimulus that people are still getting, and that money is bringing one viewer $36,000 as we go into a new week. Wow, it's a big weekend show, a big week of a show, and a big month of a show with so much breaking details as Joe Manchin may be on board with this recon with not 1, 2, but 3 deals hatched today. Boy, they're getting the stuff done. They have it all on board, all across the board. I have all the incredible details as we go into a big Evenings LA. From the East Coast to the West Coast, the excitement starts right now. Good evening, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day and hope the weather is good where you are. We have had really a fascinating series of events today, and we got it all in this jam-packed recording tonight. We'll go over that monthly stimulus check and why the viewers of this channel are going to be very happy for a recon that now pays viewers upwards of about $15,000. I'll show you all the details in tonight's recording with the excitement of that big 3 clusters. We'll go over cluster number 1 that pays viewers money for things like Hazard Pay and elder care. Cluster number 2 that has payment for home repairs. And cluster number 3, items like seniors' monies and more. Then we'll be turning to the big surprises as items are being proposed to be added in there. And those add-ons, of course, are the MSCs. Then also the $250 billion for elders and the $25,000 for a new home. Then we'll be cutting back to the big surprise that no one saw coming with this big money. On top of that, for deals, and those deals that no one just saw coming. No less than 3 deals being potentially hatched today. And what are they? We'll be going over the deal with Joe Manchin. We'll be going over student loan debt forgiveness. We'll be going over the COLA raise. We got a lot in tonight's recording. We're just getting started, and it's a big, bold day in which it's been cold at night and blazing hot in Los Angeles during the day. And this is Evenings LA. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video and consider becoming a member. Evening's countdown is tonight, and then we go into shows at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11:30, 3 a.m. and 3:30, all about 4 stimulus. We got a show every hour on the hour until I'm next back with you with Early Mornings LA tomorrow morning. So subscribe, like this video, and consider becoming a member. Let's start with this recon. It's $3.5 trillion, and it's checks for all walks of life. Seniors, workers, married people, non-children, parents with children, SSI, SSDI, red states, blue states. You all qualify for it. And the average viewer of this channel will get upwards of about $15,000 from this incredible recon. In this recording, we're going to go over each of these clusters of checks and how they pay out those sums of money. We're going to go to the first cluster of checks starting right now, which is cluster number one, hazard pay, and those $4,000 of elder care. Cluster number one, pass, and it has hazard pay. Broaden the earned income tax credit and increase in the amount of money. This is huge, especially for essential workers. They got $4,000 a year for elder care, and then $4,000 a year for caring for young child. Then they got money in there for college grants directly to the university, to the student, and also the Pell's grant made tax-free. And then they got free money to repair your home. Yes, if that home is in a low-income community, free money to repair the home. Then they got $51,000 a monthly stimulus checks in there. Wow. The CTC, the child tax credit, broaden the eligibility, increasing the amount of money. $300 a month approximately every month, every year, up to 18 years, which is $51,000 per child. Then they got money in there for new electric bikes, new electric cars, all electric, all U.S. auto manufactured. First, up to 15% for the purchase price of a new electric bike, $7,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle, and a little bit more if it's for business use or it's a truck. There you go. That's the first of three clusters of checks in this $3.5 trillion recon that'll pay you upwards of $15,000 past. But now let's go to the first add-on that's being proposed to be added on top of that. And that first add-on is $25,000. It comes from the illustrious legislator, House Representative member from Los Angeles, Maxine Waters, proposing $25,000 for you, hard, cold cash. For what? First-time home buyers. Wow. How do I think this will happen? Likely during the escrow period when you go to buy a new home, the federal government gives $25,000 in your name to the seller. Wow. Incredible. Up to $25,000 for the purchase price of a first home. That is the first of three add-ons in this video, but now let's cut to the second cluster of checks. And the second cluster of checks are home repairs and paid leave. Remember, this recon is about life in general. It has nothing to do with the pandemic. And in this second cluster, wow. Paid family leave, paid medical leave. How much does that pay? $1,700 a week if you make $80,000 or more per year. $800 a week if you make $30,000 a year. $400 a week if you make $15,000 a year. They got more money for child care programs, household tax credits. They got money for seniors like Medicare eligibility age and more. Then pre-kindergarten totally free, tuition-free community college, and they got money in there for more repairs to the home. These are not low-income community homes. This is just home repairs in general to weatherize your home. Wow, definitely needed to weatherize your home, especially if the moderate Democrats are on the roof. As I always say, keep the moderate Democrats out of the House, and wherever possible, keep the moderate Democrats out of the Senate. There you go. That is the second of three clusters of checks passed in this $3.5 trillion recon. They'll pay most viewers this channel about $15,000. But now let's turn to the second add-on, and it comes from the wonderful Bob Casey. He's a Senator Bob Casey from Pennsylvania, the 61-year-old, and he's now proposed $250 billion for seniors and SSI and SSDI. What is this for? It's for things like home health care. Casey looks at the situation and says, well, we have sons and daughters staying out of the workforce to take care of their parents because they can't afford home health care. It's too expensive. So how do we fix this? We give fortunes to city, counties, and states so that they can give you free home health care with a licensed professional that'll care for you totally free. And then your son and daughter will be able to go back into the workforce and work if they want and alleviate labor shortages. What a great idea. That is a second add-on. Now let's go to the third cluster of checks passed. And you're going to hear two keywords in this section. I'll show you, listen to those keywords. Here we got money for seniors with a world exclusive of that as well. All right, here are the cluster 3 checks pass. Free school meals for all checks, tax break checks, cheaper prescription medication checks, checks for farmers, checks for free internet. Then those keywords, 2 keywords to listen to, clean energy. Listen to those words, clean energy. I'll be coming back to them later in this video. They got checks in this third cluster for independent contractors, and then checks for seniors, dental, vision, hearing care, and then a big world exclusive lowering the eligibility age for Medicare. Well, this channel can exclusively report that Bob Casey, again, the same Democratic legislator, is proposing to drop the eligibility age for Medicare from 65 to 60. Wow. In this third cluster are some great checks like free internet. All you have to do is say, what's the username and password? The username is Sirloin, and the password is Jovita Late. No, Jovita Late Scarfit. There you go. That is the third cluster checks. And guess what? Time for that third add-on, and I think you know what that third add-on is. And that third add-on has not one, two, but three great elements of breaking news tonight. And that third add-on, of course, is that MSC, monthly stimulus check. Chuck Schumer, who is the majority leader of the Senate, told a viewer going into this weekend, a viewer going into last weekend, a viewer going into the weekend before, he's inserting a monthly stimulus check provision. He told MB Applegate about 1 week ago, his staff, that he's inserting that monthly stimulus check provision. And he told Donnie's wife the week before that he's inserting that monthly stimulus check provision as well. So let's go over the big surprise that is getting even bigger, and it's starting right now, and that is one of the provisions, which I'm going to go over in a second, in the three clusters past, is reportedly coming out today. It's not a provision that concerns you. It's a provision that concerns the climate and clean energy. Yeah, those two key words. That one of the provisions in clean energy, not the whole clean energy section, but one of the provisions in there is reportedly coming out, and it's reportedly hundreds of billions of dollars. You know why this is good news for you? Yes. If you remove a program that would have had $100 billion program allocated to it, that money can now be reallocated to your monthly stimulus check. Now let's go over how they get these items, whether we're talking about this or the $25,000 or the $250,000, the $250 billion. How do they add these provisions in this incredible recon? How do they do it? Let's go over all of these items starting right now. The way they do it is during a change on the House side or the Senate side. The House side has opportunities to make those changes where? Well, first they can do it in the subcommittee. Currently, the legislation is in a subcommittee. Subcommittee is lower than the House floor. That subcommittee is led by Sheila Jackson, and that's where that $3.5 trillion recon package is, not a bill yet. They can add it to the package. Number two, they can add any of these three add-ons to the House bill before it calls for a vote. When you look at the House bill, maybe it's not in there. Remember, that's not the finish line. That's just the House bill. Legislators on the House side can add it in there before they call vote on the House bill. Then, the big one is the two-day event at the very end of the whole process called the Votorama. I know it's the Senate Votorama, but it just sounds like a very bad disco song with Mitch wearing bad bell-bottom jeans. It is, lots of psychedelic shirts and a VW buck. It's just, that's the look of it. Well, the two-day Votorama is at the very end. It's where they introduce proposals on the Senate side to change whatever they got from the House. Those proposals to change are called amendments. And who's in charge of the two-day Votorama? Chuck Schumer. Who determines what's called for a vote during the two-day Votorama? Chuck Schumer. Who determines when things are called for a vote? Chuck Schumer. Who says that he's going to insert a monthly stimulus check provision in there? Chuck Schumer. And who determines what they wear to the Votorama and what they eat? Mitch McConnell. He's the bell-bottoms bellboy. Yeah, he just determines what psychedelic look you're going to wear, and let's just hope he doesn't serve the lobster. It'll just ruin everything. There you go. That is how they add it in there. Meantime, there is yet another great element about that MSC, and of course, it's the incredible message from the Chief of Staff to the number one legislator in the Senate for your recon. Wow. Chief of Staff means this is the number one person in the office. This is the person right below the senator himself. And the message is talking about the over 3 million advocacy messages they have gotten and how you need to keep on advocating all this week long, new week, and a new week round of calling. You need to advocate. Here's the incredible message from a viewer during her conversation with the Chief of Staff. They now have in total between Congress and the senatorial offices received more contacts of advocacy from the LA Purple Power than the number of signatures in the American petition. Everyone's amazed by the outpouring of touching stories from LA's viewers. Now they have more than what has been called just a bunch of signatures. They now, because of LA, have a better understanding of how the average Americans are trying to make it through the pandemic. They have heartbreaking stories now in Congress because of LA, and they have the voice of the people across the nation in LA who has become too loud to be ignored. And then comes a final sentence directed to me for you. Let's go over that sentence in that message. That final sentence reads as following. Please continue your encouragement, LA, for the continued advocacy as the professional voice of the people you, LA, have become. Continue until this becomes law. There you go. Well, thank you for the very nice message. It also basically saying we need to advocate until we're over the finish line. In the second half of this video, we got a lot coming up. Another deal with Joe Manchin. This is on top of the one debuted yesterday. A second deal, and it's huge. Then we go over student loan debt forgiveness. We go have a big recording about also COLA, because guess what? You're going to get 2 lifts after that. We got third stimulus bringing you more money, and we have all the details coming up from Nancy Pelosi, who says the recon must get done because it will get done. Whoa. Great words from Nancy there. I'll have more about that incredible statement and also jollipops as well as we go into a big evening's second half, but I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LA Late Daily for the excitement of the new LA Late live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LA Late at 9 a.m. Home LA Late returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LA Late at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LA Late. And the excitement continues right now on Evenings LA Late, direct from Santa Monica, with incredible great news in the second half of this recording. We got a lot going on with a second potential deal with Joe Manchin. Boy, this is big. All the latest breaking news that just happened today. Student loan debt forgiveness, more debt now being forgiven for students. I'll have the latest details on this and more. And then COLA going up, but that is not the only time your benefits are going to go up. They'll potentially go up 2 times after that. What's going on? I have the latest details. Then we'll be cutting back over to the exciting elements of third stimulus, as one viewer is getting an additional $36,000. I'll have the latest details and show you how you can get these big sums of money. We'll be cutting over to fifth stimulus. We'll be going over how they're getting the deep recon to the finish line, and the incredible words of encouragement that came from Nancy Pelosi. Wow. It's a big second half, and it is heating up. I have never seen anything like this. And this is Evenings LA. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers is a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video and become a member. The link is under the video. Coming up later after this is Evenings Countdown, then shows at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11:30, 3 a.m., and 3:30 until we get to early mornings LA. All about for stimulus. A new show on the hour by the hour. Let's turn to the big surprise that really took us all by storm, and that is that student loan debt forgiveness. Student loan debt forgiveness came on in, and it came from the president at a time in which a lot of people didn't know it was coming. That student loan debt forgiveness is absolutely incredible. The president had initially forgave some student loan debt for individuals who were disabled after graduation. But last week, the president forgave 2 more rounds of student loan debts. Who are they? First, the president forgave student loans of individuals who went to work in the nonprofit sector for 10 years after graduation. Wow. But the big shocker came when the president forgave student loan debts for people who went to work in the public sector for 10 years after graduation. This is you if you work for the federal government, city, county, or state. Whoa, big. Public school teacher, sanitation driver, public works officer, that's all you. We had one incredible viewer during the morning's countdown show. Tuned in to learn about stimulus, didn't expect to hear about student loan debt, and then suddenly said, wait a second, sir, I've been a federal prison guard for 20 years since graduation. Is this me? And I said, yes, it is you. All your student loan debts have now been forgiven. The viewer found out live on air as the news was breaking. Incredible story across the board. Meantime, the president's proposing to forgive $10,000 student loan debt for everyone else. That's happening, as well as the president is being urged to do $50,000, a little bit more. But we aren't done there yet. We now have a potential second deal in the works with Joe Manchin. This is on top of the first deal revealed yesterday. Let me go over both of them starting right now and show you how they're going to get this over the finish line. What's at issue is really the following. What's at issue is that there's 3 things that they have to change in this recon. And those 3 things they have to change are the following. They have to reduce the price tag of the recon. That's easy. I'm going to show you that in a second, how they reduce the recon from 3.5 down to 2. They have to change the prescription medication language for Chris and Sinema. Number 3, they got to change some stuff about climate for Joe Manchin. Now, when I say climate, I'm not referring to the beach is warm or the sky is blue. No. I'm referring to things like coal, natural gas, electric vehicles, energy consumption, fossil fuels. So let's go over the first deal with Joe Manchin. The first deal involves keeping a provision in their pass, keeping a pass, but changing the language so that Joe Manchin's biggest industries of his state could qualify for the money as well. This one sounds like a match made in heaven. By going into the weekend, a leak story came out from the White House that they came up with a brilliant idea to look at one of the clusters, and one of the clusters had money in there for climate that would normally not allow Joe Manchin's industries to apply for the money. So they changed the language of the eligibility. So Joe Manchin's biggest constituents in his home state of West Virginia would qualify for these programs that could pay them billions of dollars. Doesn't that sound sort of obvious and easy way to get it done? It does. The changes to the language of those clusters would be proposed to make it easier for coal and natural gas power plants to receive billions of dollars, which would pay Joe Manchin's fossil fuel producers in his state big sums of money. Whoa, that is wonderful. It basically says open the eligibility so Joe Manchin's number 1 constituents qualify for massive payouts, the biggest payouts since the pandemic started. Why would you not sign on for this? This one sounds great. Second thing that's really quite great, which is in generality forms, is that we have gone in less than, I would say, 3 days from Bernie saying, and the president saying, I don't know what Manchin and the moderates want, to now getting really good clarity about what they want. Wow. And that clarity concerns clean energy. Early in this recording, I told you, in that third cluster, pass, there's a big section called clean energy. In that big section of clean energy, there's a lot of provisions in there. One of the provisions in there, Joe Manchin doesn't want. He wants it out. So the White House said, it's going out. It's going out. It's a couple $100 billion. So guess where that extra $100 billion can go to? Us. It can go to us. This is so good in so many regards. One, it reallocates the money back over to our type of stuff, but also it basically says, hey, what do you not like? I don't like this. Thank you for finally telling me what you don't like. I'll take it out. Deal done. If as though that can't get any better, it does get better because Pelosi and Alex Padilla, who's the Democratic senator here in California, said the key battleground now is climate. It's climate. So let's go over the comments from Pelosi and Padilla, and then we'll go over the next part of doing the recon deal. It's such a big change because a week ago, Sanders was saying we need to hear what the opponents want. Well, now we know. Great details. Pelosi had said on Tuesday, we're going to have some important decisions to make in the next few days. We got them as we now learn about what needs to be changed. Pelosi had said central to the recon is the climate part of the legislation. Now we know why, because we can get the recon from $3.5 trillion to $2 trillion. That's easy. It's just getting people to change language. And now the climate is the battleground with Joe Manchin. And in fact, Alex Padilla said, no climate, no deal. Obviously, you got to get that climate worked on because some of the climate Joe Manchin really wants in there. So great stuff. And then came Pelosi. Incredible comment. She says, this recon will get done because it must get done. Oh, boy, that is wonderful. Bob Casey says the situation. People ask me why we haven't done more of this. Yeah, he says, I say the same thing. We haven't done this in 40 years. Now, let's turn to the third item to change in the recon, prescription medication climate. That is the price tag. This one is an easy one. And it's what I've been reporting on this channel since the month of July. In fact, most of my stories, when I've ever said I speculate, I don't know, but I'm speculating, we now see that all my speculating was spot on exclusive reporting. What happened? I had told you that when Bernie went into the negotiations for a $7 trillion recon, I had a feeling he was asking for 20-year programs. I speculated at the time. And we now have confirmation they were 20-year programs. Then, when they reduced the recon from $7 trillion to $3.5 trillion, I speculated that the programs were running 10 years. Now we have confirmation for Jalopal going into this weekend. They are 10-year programs. And then finally, when I said over the last 2 weeks that the way you get the recon from 3.5 to 2 is by just shortening the duration of the programs, guess what? Vulcan mind melt. Pelosi, Jayalapa, and LA all now saying the same thing. It was 2 weeks ago I said, just take the duration of the programs at 10 years of 3.5 trillion, bring them in smaller, let's say five years instead of 10 years. That's a $2 trillion package or a 1.9. Done deal. Well, on Tuesday, Pelosi said the same thing. We can shorten the duration on the programs to make the recon smaller. That was number one. Then Jayalapal said the same thing. And then we have Jayalapal going this weekend with the best quote of all of them. She said that the priority is getting big checks out right now. It's a common message that you and I have covered on this channel, that we don't need to focus on a program many, many years from now. We need big checks this year, big checks next year, and big checks maybe the third year, so that it looks like we get back to 2017 or 2016. We don't need to worry about what it's going to be, what life in America is going to be like in 9 years from now or 8 years from now. We just need to focus on the next 2-3 years and get big checks really quickly, fast out. And guess who just said that as well? Not just you, not just me, also Jayalapal. We will reduce the number of years because the universality of the benefits to the checks and the immediacy, the speed of the benefits are absolutely critical. Wow. Basically saying the most important thing is big checks and fast paying checks. Then she says, and then frankly, it's more important to do that than having the programs run the entire 10 years. Wow. There you go. Can't top that. And now you have Pelosi, Jayalapal, the president, all saying, here we go. Bring the recon from 3.5 to 2 trillion by shortening the durations of the programs, get the provisions with Joe Manchin agreed to, and we have a deal. And it's looking very, very good. Now, let's turn to a big surprise, which just took us all by storm, and that is the COLA raise. Wow. That COLA raise is fascinating. I'm going to discuss in the context of this stimulus, because guess what? You're not just getting one raise, you're getting potentially 3 raises. Wow, what's going on here? Back in July, when I first discussed where inflation is going in December, I said, I think it's going to 5%. Wall Street is saying 2% at the time. They had it too small. Apparently, I had it too small as well, because while cola is going up 5 or 6%, that's because inflation could be going up to 10% in December. Oh, boy. So let's go over how this cola works and why you're going to get potentially 3 raises, not just 1 raise. First, I want to put forced stimulus to the side because I know forced stimulus has a lot of money in there for seniors. And Bob Casey looking to add the money in there for $250 billion for seniors can get too confusing talking about all this senior money at the same time. So let's just put forced stimulus aside. Let's just focus on this and fist stimulus, which is that SSI, SSDI, Social Security reform that would come up next in the next few weeks and months. Let's go over the details. First, it's huge that where I thought that inflation would bring our fist stimulus lift up of 5% is now going to be actually law under COLA, really big. Because once your benefits go up, they never go down. So everyone's getting that letter from Social Security saying your benefits are going up 5 to 6%. Guess what? That's not just next year, it's a lifetime. But we aren't done there yet. Fifth stimulus also proposes to give you a big lift if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Veterans benefits, a one-time lift. And yes, that would come after this. So you would first get this COLA raise, and then you would get that big lift of your benefits on top of that. We ain't done there yet. Then you would get a third lift after that second one that would kick in potentially the end of next year. Why? Because they're going to get rid of COLA and replace it with a new benchmark of inflation. This is huge. Next year, COLA could be back to 0. COLA's been 0 for many, many years. It doesn't do anyone any help generally. But if inflation was used as the benchmark next year in a fifth stimulus, inflation ain't going to be 0% next year. It may be 2 or 3%. So yeah, your benefits go once up on a COLA, second time with that big lift on the fifth stimulus, and then if they pass fifth stimulus, then with the new benchmark across the board. A lot of great details, and we're just getting started. Now let's turn to the big exciting element that no one saw coming with an additional $36,000 one viewer got last week. Wow. But before we turn to that, let's turn to the great news from Prina. Prina is a viewer who 2 weeks ago started the week on this channel watching $0 and ended the week with $6,000 in her pocket. What happened? Prina heard my message to pounce for that money that's available for rent, utilities, and food from that $13 billion going out from the federal government under third stimulus from Treasury. She writes, I want to thank you so much, LA. When you mentioned the extra $13 billion going out to the states, I automatically pounced and I contacted the city of Austin and I got approved. Rent, November through January. Now I have $6,000 for 8 months. Thank you so much. And we aren't done there yet because that's just one viewer. This last week, Mark, $51,000 Mark, went from $51,000 to another $36,000 on top of that. Get that pen and paper ready because you can get this big money as well. We can get some rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, SNAP, food, clothing, appliances, holiday gifts, and it's all starting right now. We're going to start with rent. I'm going to show you 6 places to reach out to, and utilities and mortgage assistance. 6 places you can reach out to. Each place has different eligibility. If one says no, reach out to the next. Then listen to the keywords I say in this video. And finally, get ready for those nonprofits. All right, here are the 6 places you're going to reach out to. City Hall, City Housing Authority. County Hall, County Housing Authority. State Hall, and State Housing Authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage utility assistance because of COVID. And here are the numbers that people are getting for rent, and boy, you see how big they're going. Nisi's at $20,000. Mark's at $25,000, but now he's got another $36,000 on top of that. Several viewers have gotten $40,000 in the last few weeks. And a lot of viewers, this channel, have now gotten their 3rd or 4th or 5th round of rent. Yeah, you can get more rounds of rent. Then let's turn to the money for utilities. Utilities are going up a lot. And yes, Mark's brother-in-law getting $15,000. Wow, that is a big lift. Reach out to all 5 utility companies if you have 5. Then SNAP. Oh boy, SNAP. SNAP is money for food. You get it from the Department of Agriculture, and your benefits are going up. Average 25% lifetime nationwide starting this month. Wow. Mark's brother-in-law going from $21,000 to $26,000 a year because of the channel. Get multiple sums of money. Why are you not? Get multiple sums of money. Here's Nisi at 3 items at $23,000. Nancy at $32,000. We have people getting big sums, combo sums of items across the board. Lorraine at $110,000. Then we have Mark. He was $51,000. His going now to $80,000. All right, now let's turn back to the nonprofits, because the nonprofits also help you out. First, the nonprofits pay for the same items as third stimulus. Every city, every county, state has money for you for rent, utilities, and mortgages. They all have it. If you've reached out all the 6 places I show you and they all say you are not eligible, then apply with the nonprofits. The nonprofits have different eligibility than the federal government, and they cover generally the same items under third stimulus. Who are the 5 nonprofits? Here they are: United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. What's important to remember is that the nonprofits also pay for items that are not in third stimulus. For example, appliances, window repairs, clothing for people who can't afford clothing, homeless people in the shelters. The nonprofits are very basic in the concept of they don't want you to freeze to death and they don't want you to burn up. They want to keep you cool in the summer and warm in the winter. So they provide viewers of this channel often refrigerators, portable space heaters, portable furnaces. Reach out to the nonprofits. Some of the nonprofits are still doing holiday gifts, like Salvation Army. Some places they've ran out of the holiday gifts. It's going to run out somewhere in the next few days nationwide for Salvation Army. I've been telling viewers since September to get those holiday gifts so that they run out. They're running out faster than I think I remember from last year. So again, reach out to those 5 nonprofits: United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. Finally, if you haven't become a member, what are you doing? The membership link is under the video. We get that Purple Hawk name behind Purple Hawk emoji behind your name. What's important to remember is that when we're looking at this 4th stimulus, most viewers of this channel will qualify for about $15,000. And this is real money. And as soon as it becomes law, I'm going to show you how to get these big sums of money. How do you learn about getting big sums of money? From the LA newsletter. And who is it from? Members. As soon as third stimulus became a law, I immediately told viewers about the big sums of money to get. Consider becoming a member. The link is under the video. Join today and become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. And get delivered to you daily, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the LA newsletter that features all the big money on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd stimulus, everything proposed for 4th stimulus. We now have 2 new volunteers, the community page, that can help you find the newsletter, also the membership benefits. Here's what you need to remember, is that as soon as 3rd stimulus was passed, I said, yeah, stimulus check, but I'll be able to get you a lot more than that on the 3rd stimulus. I'll be able to get you at least $15,000, I said, about 3rd stimulus. I got viewers on average of $40,000 from 3rd stimulus. This is real money, and guess what? People are still getting it this week. Who would have known? That is money for you to get, and that's what I'm aspiring to do, is educate you about how to get that money. Then, when we turn to 4th stimulus, average viewer of this channel will be able to get $15,000. So become a member today. It's important to understand when you look at all these stimulus packages, this money is available for you. I can teach you and show you and educate you, but I can't make the phone call for you. We've had Johnny, who got $80,000, Mark, who got now $80,000, Lorraine, $110,000. What's a common denominator for all these people is they got funded from 5, 6, 7, 8 different locations. And some of them got refunded or reapplied once the funds ran out. 7, 8 places. That means they made at least 7, 8 calls. Some of them got funded from 12, 13 places. That means they made a lot of calls. They didn't make one call and just sort of close up shop. They kept on pushing. And with that, let's go over what we should anticipate as we go into a big week ahead of us. We should anticipate more deal making. We should hope that the moderate Democrats continue to tell us what they don't like in the recon so that they can make those changes. We should be anticipating starting to see more proposals of add-ons. I expect to hear more add-ons. And we may see more provisions about climate being removed. A lot of items are a battleground right now, and those items, if they were removed, free up more cash for us. Remember, we're trying to shrink the recon on price tag by shortening durations of programs. But if a lot of items about climate are removed due to controversialness that are holding up the recon, then if we're removing those provisions, it frees up a lot of money for you, and the programs can run a little bit longer than we initially thought, maybe even a year or 2 years longer than we initially thought in this trimming situation. Great details across the board, but coming up next is Evening's Countdown or Street and Stimulus. We got shows tonight at 6 o'clock, the hit show, Evening's Countdown, and then Street and Stimulus at 7 o'clock, Sirloin at 8. And now the overnight shows at 9, 10, 11, 30, 3 a.m. and 3:30 are all about for Stimulus. It's very exciting to give you so many shows across the board every day, so I don't want you to miss any. So with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this credible family, so you know about all the credible money that you can get currently under law, currently proposed, and everything on the hour as soon as it happens. Like the video and consider becoming a member. The membership links under the video. Become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP and learn about all the big money available for you under the first, second, and third stimulus package. We got a big evening and we're just getting started. So boy, stay with me all evening long. Have a big, bold, beautiful evening. Stay informed, stay focused. Stay with LA for more.